Support for Short Stops is presented by the Caylum Trading Institute. Check out our website at www.cayluminstitute.com. On today's episode,
it's the market that keeps on notching new records seemingly every day, if not every week. According to a new report, get this, we are in the midst of the second longest uninterrupted bull market ever. The question, of course, is just how much longer this run can last.
Call it what you want, a game, an experiment, a gamble. But stock trading in the global financial markets to us is a business. Every day you're surrounded by the noise. Buy, sell, hold, buy more. And we're going to quiet it down and filter out the best trading strategies, tips, and stock picks. You want information on how to find your next bagger or home run? You'll find it right here on Short Stops.
Hi guys, this is our pilot episode for Short Stops. You are here with me today, Edmund Lee, President and CEO of Caylum Trading Institute. And here with me is the co-head of investments for Citisecurities, Mr. Bryan Gomez.
Hello guys, welcome to the show.
And Deputy Head of Research for COL Financial, Mr. Charles William Mann.
Hi guys.
And so, I think the biggest question out of everything before we begin is, are we in a bull market? Brian.
Yes, I have an answer to that. I still think we are in a bull market. We haven't seen yet what this market can potentially do. And usually markets end in euphoria. And the fact that we are still actually contemplating if this market is expensive or not tells us that most of the participants are still rational.
And what about you, Charles? Where do you think we're going?
I think we are in the bull market, so yes also. The thing to note is that the fundamentally there's still nothing wrong with the Philippines. In fact, we're very optimistic in terms of the economic outlook of the Philippines. So I think the only concern, if any, of investors would be valuations. No, and I think that's typical of a bull market. So because we still don't know, like as Brian mentioned, the maximum, the upside potential of these reforms. Right? So yes, I think we are in the bull market.
I mean, just to cut you guys short, I mean, you guys talked about euphoria. What do you mean by euphoria? What do you see in euphoria?
There was a term coined 15 years ago. It's called irrational exuberance. I think it was coined by Alan Greenspan. So we always say markets end in euphoria. So if you want a sneak preview of euphoria, you just have to take a look at Bitcoin. So I think that will be at the end of the show.
Okay, so top picks for 2018. What do you have?
I think one stock that might be overlooked by the market, I like Cebulan Masters. No, it's an IPO last year, but basically neglected for the past several months. I like it because number one, it's very cheap, and it's growing very fast. No, so
but cheap naman is relative, right? So if you look at, for example, VLL, Philinvest, tagal na naman mura sila eh. No?
Yes,
But they've
yes.
been cheap for quite some time.
Yes.
So what's making this different?
I think the difference is the growth. No, growth for CLI is very fast and also very predictable, at least in the short term. No, the reservation sales is expected to grow by 50% for this year. Income is expected to grow by 40%, right, to 1.7 billion from 1.2 billion last year. So I think those other companies that you mentioned, while they are also cheap, the growth rate for those companies is not as high.
What about you, Brian? What's your top pick for 2018?
My top pick is Wilcon, another fast-growing company. It's in the home improvement and housing industry.
We always talk about consumer and people having more houses in relation to what Charles was talking about in terms of real estate. And people now are going in the higher levels of spending. And now Wilcon has been one of the big hottest IPOs last year. In fact, I think it was the only company that was able to return 55%. So what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, not only that the market is looking at more houses, but better houses actually. So Wilcon will be benefiting from that. they're planning to put up another 29 depot stores by 2021. That's an average of around 5 stores a year. So currently it has around 40. Its most recent sales, third quarter sales was up 12% to 4.5 billion. At the same time, with net income growing around 132%, so that's a very fast clip to 1.1 billion.
Well, my top pick is simple. I love pizza, and I love the Shakey's Group. I think they're on course to open up another 20 branches this year from 24 as of 2017. I don't know about you guys. I think with all the train and all the consumer savings and spending, I think the best thing to buy is
and
restaurants.
I think with the train, no, the biggest beneficiary of the tax cut would be a bit on the middle market segment, right? Because in terms of the tax exemption, right, those that are earning minimum wage or are not really employed in the formal economy, they're not paying taxes anyway already, right? So the biggest beneficiary would be
Hindi naman lahat.
Oh, okay. They're paying less taxes in general. No, so those that in the sweet spot of those who would benefit the most from the train would be those who are earning around 20,000 pesos per month. And I believe those are the market for pizza in particular. So I think that's a good
Got it. Okay, so Metro Bank just plans to raise another 800 million common shares, which probably equates to almost 80 billion pesos in share rights offering. What are your thoughts on this huge amount?
Just to clarify, the 800 million shares, that's the maximum number of shares. In terms of the final number of shares, there's nothing officially as of the moment. Nothing definite. So it could be 400, it could be 600, it could be 800, as Edmund mentioned. Yeah.
This is a lot of money. This is a lot of
around
capital
80
raising.
billion.
So for Metro Bank, I think the biggest takeaway that I have today is that I believe that a lot of analysts and investors were surprised, because I haven't read any report saying or expecting Metro Bank to raise capital this year. I think most are expecting them to raise capital next year. So the issue with that is that the additional shares could dilute the ROE or the profitability of the company going forward. As Edmund mentioned, the proceeds could be as big as let's say 80 billion or 70 billion pesos, and that translates to about a third of their book value or their existing capital right now. So if you increase your book value by 30%, by 33%, then your ROE levels, at least in the short term, will be diluted also, right? So that could be a concern for investors. And so I think the share price could be under pressure, at least in the short term.
That's true.
Right?
That's true. I mean, but at least you build a war chest that prepares them already for future expansion and growth plans as well. So, I mean, I think the biggest question is this a chance to be buying, or do we still see a lot of short-term pressures coming from the overhang of shares?
I think eventually it will be a chance to buy, but whether I'll be buying tomorrow, I probably won't. So let's give it some time. Here in Caylum, right, we teach FTSR. So using the technicals, you just have to wait for it to quiet down a bit. Once all the shareholders want to sell gets out, then maybe it's a chance to buy.
Yeah, my concern with that also, with regards to the market, is it will probably suck out the liquidity of the market as we approach the transaction date, right?
Yeah.
These are actually good signs, all this capital raising. Because normally in bull markets, when everything gets expensive, normally a lot of corporates also start raising money during these times.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So I'll probably end with my final question, and probably the most important asset class today. Do you have Bitcoin, guys?
I don't have any kleptocurrency. No, it's not my cup of tea. I really don't.
I don't have Bitcoin also, unfortunately.
Why not?
Would you plan to buy it? If there was a platform that would allow you?
Actually, I'm quite open to buying it. So if it maybe stabilizes to a good level, and if it's easy to transact, I don't even know how to buy. I believe it's quite difficult to buy, but I'm open actually.
You said a key word there. You said stabilize. I don't think we've ever seen.
Yeah,
this
so
type
maybe
of
I don't want to buy.
cryptocurrency stabilize. All right. Thanks, guys, for joining us on our first pilot episode. If you like what you heard, please comment, share, and follow us. And until next time, bye.
Bye.
Bye.